Welcome to A Sex Worker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the answer to life, the universe, and everything is sex workers. I'm your host, Parker Westwood, and today I'm really excited to bring to you our guest, someone who only recently came into the sex working world but has made a big name for herself all of a sudden, and I was so excited to hear her story and just get to talk to her a little bit. I'm talking about the one, the only, Savannah Solo of OnlyFans. Savannah agreed to be on the podcast, and I had to have a little moment to calm myself down and fangirl out all by myself, and then gather myself in order to do this interview. So you may sense my nerves in this interview a wee bit. I also had an issue with my microphone, so the audio quality is not as great as it usually is on the show, but I'm sure you'll forgive me. Please and thank you. And there's some animal noises in the background here and there, I think, on both our ends for this interview. So enjoy the little fur babies. But this interview is so great. We talk about how Savannah Solo came to have such an incredible success on OnlyFans. We talk about cosplay, theater, the stigma involved in being a sex worker, no matter what kind of sex worker you are, social media, mental health. We kind of just go all across the board. We talk about being out to family. It's a pretty rich episode, and it's also full of laughter, and it's just a really good conversation. So I'm excited to share it with you. I hope you enjoy it. Give Savannah Solo a follow on OnlyFans, and let's dive in, shall we? Oh, and I almost forgot, and I'm so excited. This is going to be the first time I get to do this, and it's really silly how giddy I am about it. So here we go. A Sex Worker's Guide to the Galaxy is brought to you by Companion Tax. If you're a companion and you need your taxes done, check out Companion Tax at companiontax.com. It's so exciting! I got my first sponsor, y'all. Yep, and it won't be my last. So, thanks. Okay, here we go. All right, so today I am here with Savannah Solo. Savannah, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. I've been following you for a really long time on both Twitter and OnlyFans, and I'm just really excited to get to talk to you.
I'm so excited to be here.
So, I normally start with the guest, which is you, introducing themselves by their name, their pronoun, where they're based if you care to share, and what kind of sex work you do.
Okay. My name is Savannah Solo. Right now I'm rocking with she, they. I don't share my location, but I am somewhere in the South. And I do online only sex work.
Fantastic. And I've been dying to ask you this question. What is the origin story of your name?
Okay, so I knew I wanted something that had some nice solid alliteration in there because I felt like all of the fancy porn stars had some good alliteration.
Love
And
yes.
yes, yeah, I'm fucking with that. And I'm very obsessed with Star Wars, and I was coming hot off the heels of The Rise of Skywalker, feeling really depressed about that, and I was like, I'll be Savannah Solo, and then that'll be that, and it ended up working out really well because I wasn't thinking about it whenever I made my name Savannah Solo, but also I only do solo content, so that worked out really, really well. That's where she comes from.
I knew it was a Star Wars thing, and I had just kind of hoped. Yeah, I was curious. I was very curious.
Definitely Star Wars. Absolutely.
So you have been doing sex work pretty exclusively on OnlyFans. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you blew the fuck up. Um, which is pretty much when I think I started to see you, and then you took off even farther. So, would you talk a little bit about, like, the moment you started to realize that your OnlyFans well, I guess let's back up. Let's back up, sorry. How did you get started? How did your OnlyFans get started? Let's start there.
Okay. So I have been seeing this guy for almost like 4 years. Only guy I've ever like dated long term. Only dude who to this day has ever seen my tits in real life. And like I was broke right out of college, and I couldn't get a job anywhere. And I mean, I was doing some like painting around town, like contractor work, and he this guy I was seeing suggested that I start an OnlyFans, and I didn't even know what that was. I had never considered going into sex work before, and I thought I was just gonna do like some like bikini pics and sell them for an exorbitant amount of money. And I had a nice wake up call that is not how that works. And if you don't already have like 4 million followers, there's no money to be made there. And so from there I went on to doing like full nudity and like masturbation content, just solo stuff. And then I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere, and then suddenly it went everywhere. And I I was not anticipating that. The dude promptly dumped me, and I was like, word. I often joke that the
Wow.
nicest thing he ever did for me was get me into porn and then dump me. And
Yeah,
so, but I'm rocking now, so it worked out really good for me.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was not expecting it. I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere at all. I was not anticipating that. I found like a goals, like a yearly like what are my goals list that I had made, and it was like reach 100 subscribers on OnlyFans by the end of the year, and this was like January 1st. And like I was looking at it January of this year with like 10,000 subscribers on OnlyFans, and I was like, I overshot, but, but in a good way. I think I went a little too far somewhere. But it was good. We're gonna stick the landing and it'll be fine.
You've been killing it. You've been killing it.
Thank you.
When was the moment where you were like, "Oh, holy fuck, this is going somewhere?"
So someone had taken one of my, because like I was posting like bullshit on Twitter, just like stupid videos, and someone took a video that I posted on Twitter, and they put it on World Star Hip Hop
Oh,
because
no.
they wanted to like trash me. And they did trash me. I got like 5,000 hate comments.
Oh,
And like they didn't even, I think what I was angriest about was that they didn't like, they put the World Star watermark over it. They didn't even like include my handle or anything. So I couldn't even like I got 2,000 OnlyFans subscribers overnight. And like
holy
I yeah, and that was from people who just had to look me up and find me from that. And it was like a really stupid video. I had no makeup on. I looked so dumb. Like not saying that, but I mean like I was in the shower, not
yeah.
in a sexy way, and I looked like a drowned rat. And I got a lot of comparisons to Miss Piggy. Which I think they thought was going to be an insult, but to me, I was like, I'm thriving. Truly, this is the best thing that you could have said about me. That
Absolutely.
and Fiona from Shrek. And I'm like, what part of Fiona did you think I was not DTF about? Like, absolutely, I would bone Ogre Fiona. I don't know why you thought that this was
100%.
going to make me feel bad about myself. And so overnight, it just all of a sudden blew up, and people all of a sudden I started seeing like people from high school were following me, and I was like, oh no, this is oh no. And then I got like 10,000 followers that day on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we're in it now. I guess there's no backing out anymore. We're in it. I thought that this was going to be something that like I was probably going to like fail at. And then like maybe in 10 years, something I joked about having tried that one time. And then I was like, so this is my new career path now. This is not the mortgage loan officer career path I thought it was going to be.
Oh my
But here we are now.
God.
And I love it. So it worked out good.
You have so much fun with it, which I think is like my favorite part of following you is you just truly, genuinely seem to be having fun.
Oh, thanks. I am. I am. I think there's like I struggle with my mental health a lot. I always have. And so like some days I wake up and I'm like there's no physical way for me to try to make anything sexy, so I'm just going to exist with my tits out on OnlyFans today. And if I can make myself laugh, if I can create some serotonin for me today, then we will call it a win. And
Absolutely.
I think it's I think a lot of times I get comments from people where they're like, I feel like there's just no pressure on your page. I'm like, yeah, because I can't pressure me to do anything. I certainly don't want you to feel pressured to do anything. So I
Oh,
feel like it's a nice space to just exist with other people nude.
yes. Oh, I love that. I do read that from you. It's been really nice to just like almost feel as a fellow sex worker and someone who's also on OnlyFans, like I feel like I have permission to be myself. Like from follow it's one of the reasons why I like have followed you for so long is like I feel like I have permission to be myself on my OnlyFans, which is kind of fun.
And you should. And you
We
absolutely
should.
should.
We
Because you're
have
so fucking cool.
so are you. I fucking love it.
Oh.
Um and I think that that's like oftentimes that's one of the things that I think is missing in sex work period, but also like in general affects our mental health when we feel we put so much pressure on ourselves to show up in like the way people expect us to show up. And
Yeah.
also, how fucking boring would that be? Like there'd just be so many, I mean, there are so many OnlyFans of people with like tit pics and lingerie. And not to say that that's like a bad thing. It's
Right.
just, like we are more interesting than that.
Right. And you have to be more interesting than that. Like if you want to stand out, you got to do something that makes you different.
Yes.
Because like I was saying before, like if you don't already have a billion followers, posting the same thing as everyone else is just not gonna is not gonna get you ahead. Unfortunately.
Yes.
Which can be both a blessing and a curse sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. So speaking of what makes you different and sets you apart, you do a lot of cosplay, which
I
has been
do.
so much fun to watch you do. Were you
Thanks.
into cosplay before starting an OnlyFans?
Yes, I was definitely like the cringe cosplayer in like middle school and like high school. I was not good at it, but I loved doing it. And so I never had the money for cosplay. I mean, like I would make my own cosplays out of like thrift store clothes and things like that, or I would sew. But I'm now like I've always just fucking loved cosplaying. I would like I would like ace bandage my boobs and then like be all my favorite little anime boys. And so I mean that was not good. Not good for my rib cage, but it was a fun time. I had a fun time in middle school and high school doing that. And so now as an adult, like now I'm in a place where I'm like, oh, I can just buy the really cool version of this off of Amazon or whatever website, and maybe I can make it look good. This will be really fun. And I'm enjoying the fuck out of that.
Yeah, you have done so many looks for your OnlyFans that it's just like it's remarkable. It's really fun to watch. Is there
Thank you.
a favorite that you enjoy putting on the character?
Oh, I think it like changes. It's like I'll get a new cosplay in and then it's my new favorite for a little while. I think what would I say my favorite is? I know what everyone else's favorite is, and I would say it's Bo-Katan, but
Mhm.
that costume is so frustrating to put on. And so I think right now my favorite is Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter because it's basically pajamas and a wig, and I'm not thinking about what my body looks like in it whenever I'm fucking around in it. I'm just having a fun time. So, but it used to be, I would say, Black Widow.
Oh,
um, I've fucking loved that costume. I've had my Black Widow costume since I was like a sophomore in high school, and it still fits, thank God. But I've worn the fuck out of it. I love that costume.
oh, that's so much fun.
It
There's
really is.
there's something about I grew up working at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival, so I'm also like
Love.
another kind of nerd.
I
And
love that.
it was a lot of fun. Talk about character building as a kid. Um, but I loved putting on costumes. Like I'm also like a very much costume person. If I could throw a costume party once a month, I would, and I probably will at some point in my life.
Yes.
There's
Good for
something about
you.
yeah, thank you. There's something about putting on a costume that like changes the way you interact with the world. And
Hmm.
I definitely saw that with your Bo-Katan. Like you like held yourself different, and I think you had a post where you were just like, I feel like I could fuck the entire world up, or like yeah.
Definitely, like I have this one wig that my friends and I always joke about, like taking me to the club in this one like cosplay outfit because like every time I put on the wig, I take it up at a level. I get a little more extra. And in fact, me and my two best friends, every Thursday night we get together. We try on all my wigs and like we'll put on my cosplays, and then we will get absolutely trashed together, and eat pizza and watch TV, and make TikToks that we don't ever post. Oh, it's so much fun. I live for Thursday nights. Like I exist only to get to Thursday so that I can do that shit again. And we have so much fun. It is, if you ever get to a spot where you can just do that every week, my mental health is just skyrocketed. I feel so happy all the time.
Oh yeah. So you also have a background in theater, is that
I
right?
do. I
Yeah.
do.
So
I've done, oh,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. You go ahead.
tell us about it.
Oh, I've just done like local, like community theater, and then just like a couple of plays, like within like a couple hours radius. The theater is just kind of around, but that's all I've really gotten to do. But I have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I it's so fun. It's so good. Do you have any, well, I guess first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. Um, do you have any past performances that were like your favorite, like standout favorite that you got to do?
Ooh, Sweeney Todd for
Uh,
sure.
oh, that's so good.
Definitely Sweeney Todd. I was just in the ensemble, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Just getting to like enjoy the blood spray every night backstage. Oh my God, time of my fucking life. That's absolutely my favorite show I've ever done. That. And then in close second would be Once Upon a Mattress. That was really fun. I
Oh,
was also just like a bit role in that, but holy shit, it was such a good time.
that sounds like so much fun.
Oh yeah, I miss it. I miss it a lot.
Same, especially with COVID shutting down a lot of the community theaters. I have been keeping
Right.
my eyes peeled for things opening back up because like especially after like a year of not even going to see a play, I'm just like, put me on stage. I don't care what I'm doing.
Right. Right. Oh my God. I had tried out for a local, like just like a little local like pop-up theater thing that my local city was putting on,
Mhm.
and they wanted to do like Footloose or something like that. And I auditioned for it, and like they were gonna give me like a part, and then like the mayor of the city found out that like a sex worker was gonna be in like a city play, and then they like blacklisted me and like kicked me out of the play, and I was just because they didn't want me to be around kids. First of all, why are you letting kids be in Footloose? But I was like, I'm not a pedophile. I sell my titty pics to other adults on the internet. Even if it wasn't just that, I still not a pedophile or a sex offender.
Right.
But I don't see the correlation here, but that's fine. That's okay. Sure.
Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of like afraid to dive back into a theater somewhere, but oh well, people are gonna be shitty no matter where I go, so it's whatever.
Firstly, I'm sorry that that happened because that's absolute bullshit. And
Yeah,
it really sucks.
thank you.
Yeah, it really sucks that that there's that stigma on the work that we do at
Right.
all levels. Like
Mhm.
there's the hierarchy. So I really appreciate when you said like it doesn't like even if it wasn't just like tits on the internet, even if it was other things, like
Right.
same it would be the same reaction.
Right. Exactly. I'm like, I think a lot of girls recently, well, not just girls, but a lot of people have been getting into OnlyFans recently.
Yes.
Like in the past year, thinking like, oh, it's just some pictures on the internet, or like I'm not a sex worker because I'm not doing in person or full service.
Yeah.
But it's like, baby, do you know? This it's a big umbrella, sweetie. Like you're under it. You're in it,
Yeah.
babe. And this one is gonna hit you later. Like the, you can expect for this to for you to face backlash in the real world about this. Even if you think that what you've done isn't sex work because you're a piece of shit, I've got news for you. Other people know it is.
You're gonna be persecuted just the same. Like, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
Yeah,
Right. And mm,
yeah,
yeah, like we don't already get enough of that bullshit from people in real life to have the other people in the community be like, "Ooh, I'm not doing this." Shut up.
yeah.
Shut up. You
Stop trying
fucking bitch.
yeah. It's just like stop trying to separate yourself from the people you have more in common with. Like,
Dead ass for real.
yeah,
Oh my god.
just because you see the power
Stand it.
structure, like, doesn't mean you need to sidle up with the people who have more power. If we all stick together, we're gonna make it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Oh my god. Yeah. I recently have like stepped back from sex work Twitter, and like I don't even look at my timeline. I just get on, I post my picture and I close the app, and I'm like I because I can't look at it anymore. These girls are so fucking mean to each other.
yeah,
It's like yo, you realize if you tried to support one another, we'd probably all be so much better off.
yeah.
And you're fighting like it's middle school, and for what? For what?
It doesn't get
Oh
us
my
anywhere.
god.
No. And
No.
I feel the same way, like, Twitter, I am so ill-informed, and I have very few followers on Twitter because I just don't care enough. I'm like
Right.
like, I just don't.
Yeah.
And my friends have been like, "Did you see this thing that happened on Twitter?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." Because it's
Yeah.
exactly that. I can't watch people get catty with one another. I used to be a stripper, like, it's just
Right.
no.
I can imagine. And like I think it was like December. It was whenever I realized like, ooh, you know what? I'm just gonna take my hands off of Twitter. But like it was like drama that I had nothing to do with, had nothing to do with me. And they were like, whose side are you on? I was like, I don't know you people. I don't know either of you. I, the fuck? What do you mean whose side am I on? And then they're like dragging me publicly, like telling people to blocklist me. And I'm just like, what the
What?
fuck? Like what this is really dangerous. Like you throwing shit around like this could really hurt someone, I don't even know you people. Who are you? Who the fuck are you? And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm just never going to comment on anything that ever happens ever again. And I'm just gonna post a picture of my tits and leave. And now that's what I do. And I sleep so much better at night. It is so wonderful.
Yeah.
But like, god damn, people are wild on the internet,
Yeah.
as always, but Jesus.
Yeah, and it's
Jesus.
not always just in the comment section.
No, no,
Yeah.
it's not.
Oh,
I
it's
mean, that was something like last year I really was struggling with, like I've never had more than like 200 followers on any account I've ever had in my life. And
mhm.
then all of a sudden I had like 60,000 followers just out of the fucking blue. And people are like, there's a thing going on. And like, why haven't you spoken about this situation that's going on in the community? And I'm like, was I supposed to? Was
Right.
I I've been in sex work for like 4 months, man. I didn't realize I'm suddenly a spokesperson. I don't feel equipped for this. I don't feel like I'm the person you should be asking about this. I will direct you to someone who you should ask about this, but I'm not the person. I'm gonna say something stupid, and then you guys are gonna get mad at me because I said something stupid because I didn't know what I was talking about because you wanted me to talk about something that I don't
It's a trap.
understand. It was absolutely a trap, but like it's it's weird. It's weird on online. I not really fame, but online attention is it's weird.
It's weird. And like we're both Libras. We love attention, but like that kind of attention is like really unpalatable to me.
Oh yeah. Like if I smell strife coming, I'm like, I'm sorry, 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 I'm sorry. I did it. Gaslight me, please. Just go ahead and do it. Gaslight me
Make it go
and
away.
just
Yes.
apologize, and so that I can just go back to sleep. I haven't slept. I'm just, you know what? Just
Oh
bring
my
on
God.
the emotional abuse. Just bring it on. Let it
Bring it
wash
on.
over me.
I can
I'll
handle
talk
it.
about it
I'll
with my therapist.
internalize it. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's too real. Um, so fucking crazy. Yeah, and there's so many things I want to talk to you about. But I'm
I
gonna
got
go back.
time.
I'm gonna great. I'm gonna go back to theater for a minute because I was curious if you thought about doing stand-up comedy at all. Because you are really fucking funny.
Oh, thanks. I don't think I could ever do stand-up comedy. I think the Libra in me knows that if someone didn't like if my joke fell flat, I would just cry.
Oh my God.
Like I
Yeah.
would just cry on stage. There would be no in between. Like I watched like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and I'm like, no, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like imagine myself doing it and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. I need to stick to doing whatever the fuck it is I'm doing on the internet and maybe garner a couple giggles from that. But I don't ever need to do this in front of a live audience
Yeah.
ever.
It's a
I
good
did
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that that's a really good like self-reflection. Because as you said that, I was just like, oh yeah, that I think that hits in my heart. Like having a joke not land would be fucking devastating. Um,
Right.
and I wish it weren't devastating,
But it is.
but it
It
is.
is. You really put your funny bone out there and then it just gets tossed aside.
Yeah.
I used to do like music gigs around town and like if I couldn't get like if no one was paying attention or like no one was clapping between numbers, I was like, okay, I guess I'll just fuck off and die. And that's how I know that I should never ever do stand-up comedy.
Are you are you a really enthusiastic member of the audience? Like,
Yes. Oh, I'm so obnoxious.
yes.
I'm so like, I need you to know that I support everything that just happened. You did so good, sweetie. It was amazing. If I'm like at the theater and something like not even like a funny joke, but like it was supposed to be funny, I'm the
Yes.
person in the back of the room just like screaming. I'm like, everyone get on my level. Like I'm gonna try to be the person that gets the rest of the audience hyped
Yeah.
the fuck up and not afraid to laugh in the live theater performance. So I'm
Fuck.
just gonna fucking scream.
Yeah.
I sound like someone's killing a fucking chicken.
And you're like, is this hype? Is everyone getting hype? Yeah.
Right?
I
Like I need for all of them to know that they did good. They
yeah,
did so good and I'm
I feel
proud.
the same way. That makes me feel so good. Um, you also have a stellar singing voice. Um, yeah,
Thanks.
I remember you, like, sang in the bathroom of your new house or something, and I was just like, "Holy shit, she's got pipes." Um, is that
Thanks.
from theater, or were you, like, a vocalist before getting into theater? Tell us about it a little bit.
That is all just from theater. I accidentally discovered that I could sing during a theater audition and it just like I sang it and I was like, actually, you know what? That sounds like it didn't suck. Cool. Neat. And so I've never taken any like classes for it. I just do it casually in the shower and anytime like I do like a musical or something. I proved to not be that good at singing live around town just because of like what I was saying. I was like, well, now I'm depressed. so I didn't do that for very long. But I love singing. I have so much fun. My best friend always does like theater with me, and so we'll like get in the car and like do show tunes,
Fuck,
and it's fucking everything.
it's so
But yeah,
good.
I love it. I fucking love singing.
Oh, that's so much having a friend too who just, like, meets you at that level of, like, we're singing show tunes
Oh
is
yes.
a whole other level of juice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love it. Like we'd be in the car and I'll be like, okay, I'm Alexander. You're gonna be Eliza.
Yes.
Let's go. And like we just turn that shit on.
Fuck.
Oh my God. We have so much fun.
Oh, that's so, so good. If you this is not on the list of questions, I'm just kind of throwing it out there. If there was, like, one musical that you could choose to be in, like, any role, doesn't matter, but, like, one musical, what would it be?
Ooh, I would want to be Peter Pan and Peter Pan
Fucking
for
yes.
sure. I want to be Mary Martin. She was my sexual awakening. I knew I was gay whenever I saw Mary Martin dressed up like Peter Pan
That's
as a
so
child.
that
I wore that not cassette, go that VHS tape the fuck out.
were you also a fan of Hook when Hook came out?
Absolutely, I was.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely, I was. That was my lifeblood. I was a Peter Pan fucker. Absolutely, I was that kid. Like Peter Pan was my fucking shit. Like that and the Little Mermaid, but especially Peter Pan.
Mhm.
Robin Williams, my
Uh,
man, the
always,
love of my
forever and
so
ever.
dear to me. Yes, I'm fucked with that.
Yeah, that one because I was also a Peter Pan kid, and, like, when Hook
Mm.
came out I'm still obsessed with Hook, let's, like, not get it
Oh,
twisted.
it's such a good like I can hear the soundtrack right now in my head. It's
Yeah.
something so special. That food fight scene lives rent free.
Oh, it's, like, all I yep. Whenever
It's
I
so satisfying.
it's so satisfying, and, like, I catch myself trying to be too much of an adult all of the time,
Mm,
and I'm like, "Fuck
mhm.
that shit." Like, let's go back to the
Yeah.
food fight scene, back to basics.
Yes. Oh my God. Like I I think about it all the time. Like he can't eat the food because he can't like oh God, it's so just fucking good. It's so good. It's such a fucking good movie. I
Life's
need
not
to watch
really
it more
nourishing
often.
without an imagination.
You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. Oh man.
It's so good, and then I think Rufio was definitely one of my, like, sexual awakening moments.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dante Vasco. What a man.
Where are you
I
now?
love
What are you
him.
doing?
He Avatar the Last Airbender and now
Oh,
he's
yeah.
vibing. He's just
Fuck,
vibing.
just still killing it.
He really is. What a guy. So unbothered. He's just I love him. unproblematic king.
It's so great. Okay, you
Okay.
got onto OnlyFans. You've been killing
Mhm.
the game ever since well, ever since you blew up. Ever since your haters made you blow up, and now you're, like, killing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them. And you bought a house, and you
Mhm.
quit your I can't even say the word. You quit your vanilla job.
Mhm.
How did that feel? I like, quitting your vanilla job and doing sex work full time is, um it's scary. So
Yeah.
tell our listeners a little bit about, like, how that felt and, like, when you knew you were able to, like, leave your and vanilla job means, like, not sex work job, just for listeners. But yeah, tell us a little bit about
So I actually stayed at my vanilla job way longer than I needed to stay at my vanilla job, just because it was during the pandemic and they were horribly understaffed and overwhelmed. And so I stayed with them until January of this year, whenever they they had a family member moving into town who was going to take my place. And so I stayed through that happening so that there could be a nice, smooth transition for them, because they had really, whenever I was struggling at the very beginning of last year and I couldn't find a job anywhere, they didn't need help, but they made a place for me so that
Mhm.
I could work there. And the last thing I wanted to do was be like, all right, well, it was cool of you to do that, but now fuck off. I'm doing really good. Peace. And so I wanted to I wanted to stay with them. And I loved the people I worked for, and they were so kind and wonderful. And I genuinely enjoyed going in. But leaving that and just doing sex work full time, not only do I feel like I I've got way more time on my hands to just do all the things that are like rattling around in my brain,
Mhm.
but it was so freeing. Like, I'm tied down to no one's schedule. It's just me when I want to do my shit, and it's so freeing. It is so much fun, and I
Yes,
fucking love it. I would not trade this for the world. I'm having the time of my fucking life.
that's so, so awesome. How long were you on OnlyFans before you were able to, like, leave your vanilla job?
So I was on OnlyFans for 4 months whenever it finally like took off. So like my first month I only made like $80, and then my second month I made like $500, which was wonderful supplemental income.
Oh, yeah.
And then my third month was when I started making like stupid Twitter videos, and I made like $2,000 that month, and I was like, okay, well this is a livable wage. Like if I can make $2,000 every month on OnlyFans, then if I can keep this going steady, then I won't need to stay at a vanilla job. I can just do this, or I can stay at a vanilla job and do this in all of the rest of my free time, and then I can really make some money for myself for some savings and to pay off like my credit card debt that I had racked up during college. And
Mhm.
um I had started OnlyFans, like, not only because I needed work, but because I was like, you know what, I want to start saving up. I want to buy a house one day. Like I need some safety net, some padding. And so I was like, okay, well maybe I can do like two things at once. And then as soon as it really took off in April, and I was like, oh shit, like this is this is gonna go somewhere. I um I I was really like on pins and needles, because I was waiting for it all to be like taken away. Like I was waiting for it to come crashing down. And then when it never did, I think after about 5 months of that, I was like, okay, I think that I can leave my other job. I don't feel like I have to have this backup thing anymore. I feel like At this point, worst case scenario, I could just rebuild on another platform if something ever happened to OnlyFans or something like that. And so that was an interesting realization. And luckily the people I was working for, I told them like, hey, I think I would like to transition out and just do this full time. I had told them what I was doing after I blew up, just because I wanted to not only give them the option of like, hey, if you guys don't want me to work here anymore, like now that you know that this is what I do, I I want to give you that option because I really love you guys. And if this makes you uncomfortable, I mean, that would be shitty, but if this makes you uncomfortable, I would, I want to just give you guys the out so that, and plus I didn't want someone to like stalk me and come in or like send my nudes to my boss or something like that, which fucking happens all the time. People are insane.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that to happen. So I wanted it to all be out in the open. And he was just like, hold up, you made how much money? He was like, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Hell yeah, if you want to transition out, we can do that for you. But that is so fucking cool. How awesome. Like, that's amazing. Congratulations. I was like, this did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I was like, well, why don't you make sure you tell your wife about this? Make sure you tell you can tell whoever you feel like needs to know about this. And then you come and tell me if it's still cool for me to work here until you guys find someone else. But I
That's
loved
so
that
great.
job. I loved it, and I still love the people who I worked for, and I still feel like and whenever I left, it was very like, if you ever want to come back, or if you ever are just like, I miss it and I want to pick up a shift here and there, you totally can.
Oh,
So that was really wonderful.
I love that. It's yeah, that's a really I feel like that's a rare reaction for a boss to have. Maybe less rare. I hope it becomes less and less rare, to be honest.
I hope so too.
Because the way like the amount of power that people have with like outing sex workers and shit is just it drives me bananas because people are crazy and will do shit like that over like
Yeah.
you didn't refund them $5 or something. Like
Yeah, they're
it's
fucking
petty shit.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, are you also out to your family?
I am. So
Yeah.
I told my boss and I told my family right around the same time. And it was right whenever the World Star hip hop thing happened, and like all sorts of people were like finding me, and like people
Oh,
like adults I knew in my parents' life were finding my Twitter. Why are adults on Twitter like over 50 people on Twitter? But that's fine. That's fine. Interesting how in my brain, adult is just anyone over 50 and anyone under 50 is not. But whatever, here we are. And so
I'm for it.
I I realized like because I live in the Bible Belt, so I
Mhm.
knew that pretty soon my mom would start getting the I'm praying for you messages.
Mm,
And I wanted to be the one to tell her. And also like I told my mom I was like because I had been I had moved I was living with my parents, and I was ready in precaution for what I knew was to come. I asked my best friend, I was like, listen, super short term, can I come and move in with you? It won't be long. I can I come in and live with you for a month or a few so that I can save up money because I had no credit, and I had no one to co-sign on an apartment with
yeah.
me, and I couldn't find an apartment anywhere. And so I was like, I just have to ask people who I know. And I knew that as soon as I told my parents there was no way I was going to still be able to live there.
Mm,
And so I told my mom and my dad, because I had to my car had broken down and had been undrivable for like a year. Um and so I've been driving like my mom's extra car around, and then I was like, okay, can't do that anymore. I need to buy my own car. So I bought my own car, and then I told my mom. So like I went to like a really shitty dealership. I was like, give me the cheapest one you have. And he gave me a car, and I told my mom, and I was like, I I don't expect you to want me to be here anymore. I had like really like hyped myself up for the worst. Um, and I was expecting my mom to really react really badly. And for my dad to be the one who was like, okay, that's a lot of money. I could see how you could see this as as a smart money move for
Mhm.
you. Do whatever you feel like is going to be best, because my dad thinks in dollars and my mom
Mhm.
thinks emotionally. And so, but I was very surprised that whenever I told my mom, she was just like, "Is it consensual? Are you safe?" And I was like, "I am both." And she was like, "Do you know how to write dildos off on your tax return?" And I was like,
Ah!
"Trace, this, wow." And
Ah!
so, wow. Um, and so, but then my dad was the one who had the meltdown about it. And so a couple days later, I moved in with my best friend, because I knew they were really going to need like some time and space to process that. My mom didn't even know that I wasn't a virgin, and
Oh,
so
wow.
like they really needed like some time, and they did. I mean, my mom is really chill about it. She's still just every once in a while she's like, do are you still enjoying it? Are you still safe? Have, do you feel like you're doing anything that you don't want to do? And I'm like, nope, I'm still doing exactly what I want to do, exactly on my own terms, and I still love it. And she's like, cool. My dad is the one who is still very like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't
Yep.
want to mention it. And I don't bring it up around him, but anytime there's a situation that comes up, um, that involves what I do, it's very like, he's very like, we're never going to discuss this. And I'm like, that's fine. That's totally fine. I totally get it. I would not have brought it up if it was not important to the situation. um, but but yeah, like I feel very blessed that they still want to be around me. That they didn't cut me off or disown me. I feel extremely lucky. Because I've heard so many goddamn horror stories from so many of my friends in sex work that I'm
Mhm.
just like, I honestly, like even if they were holding me at arm's length, I would still feel like, oh well, you know what, this could be worse, which is
Yeah.
shitty, but it's the terrible, unfortunate truth.
Yeah, because some other people's experiences are so horrendous that, like,
Yeah,
our bar of expectations is just, like, below the floor, like,
absolutely.
yeah, it's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we didn't get disowned and completely removed from the family," like, awesome.
right. Yeah, haven't been murdered. It's
Yeah,
going great.
that part.
Going wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
insane.
it's wild, and it's like, I hope our bar like, raises. I hope for future generations of sex workers, or even the current one, that our bar, like, rises, because, I mean, it is great our that, like, my parents had a similar reaction where they were just like, with my dad, it's funny, my dad is very similar. He doesn't wanna talk about it, but he is a tech guy, and so we talk about the podcast, but, like, no content. Like, we will not talk about content, just, like, the tech stuff. Uh,
Mhm.
and yeah, I hope at some point that more people can accept sex work as work and, like, not something to be ashamed of.
Right. Yeah. I fucking hope so too. I mean, I didn't whenever I was jumping into OnlyFans, I mean, I knew that there would be like some of that to deal with, but like I was just a regular random girl on the street. I didn't know anything about it. I had never really given any of this much thought before I got into sex work. And then immediately it was like, oh, holy shit. Like, really, just the rest of the world is walking around thinking that all sex workers are just incapable of doing real work. But holy fuck, I've never worked so hard in my goddamn life. Holy shit. Like, wow. Wow, this is a lot. And I'm just doing a fraction of what a lot of other people are doing. And it's just there's so much to it. There's so many layers to sex work, and it is so demanding, physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
And people just don't even think about that. Like all the rest of the people just aren't even thinking about including sex work in their feminism even. Like it's
Oh my
just,
God.
man, it is interesting to to make that transition. It's an interesting one to make, and then having to go through and like all of the things that you've been taught for your entire life, like having to unlearn all of these stigmas and things that you just was just what you thought. And so like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's so it's a lot to jump into.
Yeah, it's so much. And I find like all the internalized structures, and specifically like whorephobia, since we're in
Hmm.
sex work, like I still run into pieces, and I've tried to do a lot of work to like rip those things away, like out of my being,
Right.
and like undo a lot of the conditioning.
Hmm.
But I think that I remember, and tell me if you had the same experience, but I remember the first time I posted a picture of my pussy online was like this in full body, like, I guess we're going in, like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it.
I remember saying aloud to myself, mm, shit's changing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I
It's a really special moment, I think, in anyone's life. Okay, I think this is a great time for one last question, and then we'll get into the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay, what do you wish the greater public would understand about sex work or sex workers?
I wish they would stop viewing all of us as uh, people who have just been led astray. I wish they would understand that a lot of us are actually vibing. Like we don't need any help. And like, I mean, I know there are a lot of people who do sex work, um, not as their first choice. And of course, those people should be given more opportunities by the public to, you know, to find a different thing that they can do if they want out of sex work.
Mhm.
But I wish the public would understand that it's not so easy to get out once you're in. And like, it's, if you've done full service and you've been arrested for that, then now you have a record. And like, now it's going to be harder for you to find work. Like, I wish people wouldn't be so goddamn ignorant about it. I wish they would do like 3 ounces of research. Just look into it one time ever, and maybe stop just listening to everything that your pastor is telling you about it, and maybe think about the actual human beings behind it for like 5 seconds. That's all I would say. Just like maybe think about the humans and not sex work as an abstract construct to you. Just
Yes,
think about the human beings for like just like 1 minute.
I love
I'll be
I love
better off.
and it tends to get so oversimplified. I love that that's the thing that you want to, yeah. Perfect. Okay, are you ready for rapid fire questions?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Salty or sweet?
Salty.
The air or The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi?
Don't ask me that. Force Awakens.
What is your favorite place you've ever been?
Manhattan.
Fuck yeah. A book on your mandatory reading list?
Like to read or have read?
To read.
Ooh. Ooh, I only read fan fiction, so this is
That counts. That's important.
I I'm trying to think of like a real life book that I that I've wanted to read. Oh shit. Um
Or that you have read that you want other people should read. Like,
The Song of Achilles.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely. The Song of Achilles.
Um, a song, an album, or a musical artist that you've been obsessed with lately?
Oh, I've already devoted my life to Alabama Shakes, so I'll
Okay.
just go with them.
It's a great choice.
It really is. I love them.
What is your secret talent?
Ooh, my secret talent. See, I feel like I've shared every secret I have with the people on OnlyFans. Hmm. What is my secret talent? Um, oh, I'm an amazing tap dancer. That's my secret talent.
No shit.
Yes. I tap danced for like 10 years.
Holy shit, that's so cool. Now your OnlyFans folks are gonna, after this airs, they're gonna be like, excuse me?
I can't do nude tap dancing. We're not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I feel like that would hurt your tits so much.
I would die. They would fly right off my body and I would be dead and that would be it. That would
Let's
be it.
no. Okay, so finish this sentence. Good sex is.
Elusive.
Uh-huh. If you had one superpower, what would it be? Only one.
Shape-shifting.
I love that. Yeah, 100%. And then the last one, what is something simple that brings you joy? I just heard it. It just happened.
Mhm. Mhm. Something simple that brings me joy. Um, I would say putting honey on things. That brings me joy. I like to put honey on just everything.
That's such a good answer. It's like both delicious and sexy. Depending
Yeah,
on how you yeah.
yeah.
That brings me to the end of the questions. So, thank you so, so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I had a freaking blast.
Let's say goodbye to the listeners real quick. All right.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for joining. You're great.
I love you.
Ugh, that was so much fun. It was so much fun that I even enjoyed editing it. It was just so great to be able to connect with Savannah. As I said, she's someone I personally have followed on OnlyFans for a long time. If you're looking for a really fun account to follow, go check her out. She's just a gem, as you can tell from our conversation. A few things about the podcast. If you would like to support the show, keep listening first and foremost. I love it, love it, love it. I really am so grateful for each and every one of you. And then if you would like to support the show further, say with a little financial boost, you can always come on over to patreon.com/sexygalaxypod and support us that way. There's multiple tiers, so you can support us for $5 a month or $50 a month or $15 a month, whatever is in your budget. And if that's not available to you, you can always write a glowing review, even if it's just a single sentence, because that does help boost this show to other people's attention and let them know that people dig it. Just spread the love as much as possible. I'm counting on you. You're my only hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, I'm done, I promise. But for real, I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much for listening. Give us a follow on Twitter at SexyGalaxyPod. You can follow me on Instagram at parker.westwood. And enjoy life. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy something, please. Now we've come to the time of space fact. As you're traveling through space, you're going to have to impersonate people every so often in order to infiltrate certain things. Just trust me on this. Just trust me. You're going to have to infiltrate an alien base every once in a while. It's just going to happen. So make sure you have an abundance of wigs in your bag. There are certain outposts in space that sell just add water wig capsules, so make sure you stock up on a few of those before you go too far into space. It's important that you're prepared for anything, because anything can happen in space. Nanu nanu, motherfuckers.